Hello again, Andy with HandyAndyHome.com, and welcome back to yet another real quick run through. This is an inspection repair bid for a local real estate agent up in the Town Lake Woodstock area, and this one got a really thorough inspection. You know, some inspections are lax, some of them are really thorough, and this inspector went through here and found all kinds of stuff. This house has LP siding on it, and it's even though the homeowners try to take care of it, it's got a few issues and some rotted siding that the inspector has pointed out. And so what happens in these repairs is that the buyer and the seller basically come to terms in the inspection amendment what things are going to be repaired or not. And so here they're trying to figure out how much all this stuff is going to cost. So I'm going to go through in different stages. The inspector pointed out a number of things, and we'll just kind of go around the house as we do this. So here we're looking at the siding, and right below this right front window we've got 2 or 3 rows of siding here that are bad. And then when you go directly above the window, you've got another 2 or 3 rows above this window are bad. This is grained masonite siding, or LP siding. We're not sure until we pull it apart. The difference really is that LP and Georgia Pacific siding is a wood chip siding, and then the masonite is more of a cardboard siding. There's nothing inherently defective about either one of them. It's just if they're not back primed and caulked and painted properly, they absorb water and they rot over time. And that's a little bit what's happened here. And then if you don't have kick-out flashing, that presents a problem too. This little fascia board here on the corner where it hits the front, that one's rotted out. When you come to this middle section of the house, part of the issue here has been that they never had kick-out flashing where the gutter abuts the siding, and so the inspector noted that there. Great that they've upsized this to 6-inch gutter and it's got 3x4 downspouts, but all the siding around these 3 rows around the gutter right here, all the way down to the bottom, these bottom 4 rows, so there's 7 rows of siding right here rotted. So what ends up happening is you can't piece this siding in. It's a different dimension than the hardy plank that we'll use to replace it with. Once it's painted, you really won't notice the difference, but you have to replace the entire row. You can't piece in. And if you look at some of our other videos, you'll see where people have attempted to piece it in, and then it's just caused the other siding to rot around it, and water's got into the sheathing and that kind of a thing. So that's what we have to do right here. And then the inspector noted here that this sill board down here was never caulked and sealed at the brick, so we can just caulk and seal that. We only charge them to do that. And then you got a rotted soffit. See the bowing here? This is the short soffit to the right of the front entry, and you can see the condition of the siding as you get closer to it. See how swelled it is? I can put my finger right through it. And so then on the other side of the house, we'll go around to the left side. Same kind of thing. Some of the gutters on the house are 4-inch, some of them are 5 inches, and they're spiked instead of being screwed, so we'll add some hidden hanger screws to pull those together. It's gonna be a little harder to see this. We're at the left side of the house, right side of the chimney, and you can see this gutter right here. Again, it didn't have kick-out flashing that the inspector's calling for, and you've got about 8 or 10 rows of siding in here that are rotted and need to be replaced. This section right here, it's unusual. The installers put siding here, and you really wouldn't want siding in this installation, so all this siding here is rotted anyway. We'll replace this with a 4x5 foot panel, a sheet panel here, and caulk and prime it and paint it to match the siding so you don't really notice it. And then on the front of the chimney you can see the same thing. You've got again about 8 or 10 rows of siding on the face right here that are rotted out. I'm not gonna be able to really get it too well on the camera. Usually chimneys, you're better off sometimes just go ahead and replace all of it. Chimneys get a lot of abuse. You can see this bottom corner board on the chimney is rotted too. See the puckering right here? And then the same thing on this side where the kick-out flashing was never installed. You got about 8 or 10 rows on the left side of the chimney that are rotted as well. With the gutter pulling out, you can kind of see right here on the left side of the house, see the gap behind the gutter? And somewhere probably in the back of the house, you'll see some of the spikes sticking out. But overall, the house is in pretty good shape for a manufactured siding. Once you go around, you caulk up everything and replace the rotted siding, you're in pretty good shape. You might have to come back once in a while and replace a few more pieces over time. Because what happens with masonite and manufactured siding is that condensation forms on the inside wall cavity when it's 70-some degrees inside your house and 120 out here. Moisture forms on the inside of that wall, and over time it'll start to decay the siding. At the right side of the house at the garage, you got 3 rows of siding right here. Again, you've got 3 rows in the center, and you've got 2 or 3 rows on the right side right here. So all those pieces will be replaced with hardy plank and painted to match the existing siding. On the back of the house, you can kind of see, if you look at the gutter up there, you'll see the spike hanging out that the inspector was talking about. And the thing is, you know, you might have a great house and an inspector comes through and finds 40 pages of items to repair in your house. It's pretty standard. You're going to find that almost anywhere. So just because you got an extensive report like you did on this house, I mean, you have a bad house. It's just a lot of things that we live with that we never notice. Above here, they'd replaced this deck and they just didn't flash it. So that's one of the things the inspector noted. And because they didn't flash it, even probably before, this soffit's rotted through right here. So he's spec'd that he wants this piece of 2x6 replaced in there. And then when you come up on the deck, you'll have a little bit more siding. Did a pretty good job building this deck, whoever did it though. And so in here you've got 3 or 4 rows of siding under this window, need to be replaced. And then it's too hard to come in here and install flashing now. They put this down, we'll end up ripping up all the wood along the house trying to do it. So what we do is we cut that bottom row of siding and we install a beveled piece of pressure treated wood that's custom beveled and cut to fit all the way through here, and it'll divert the water away from the house. Even with flashing, we found over time that the water ends up sitting in there, ends up getting into the framing. Just a bad thing to do. So that's how we fix it. The other things that the inspectors noted here is you just need to caulk up some places. Anytime you see gaps in the siding like that, like downstairs at the basement door, they replaced the door. They did some work over here replacing this door at some point, and you can see they never caulked it. See the gaps? So those are the things the inspector is talking about. Here they repaired the deck. You can see the gap at the corner board. They just never caulked it. So we'll just put a line in there to spot caulk everything. We use premium materials. Don't cheat on caulk in Georgia. Don't buy the $1 caulk. Buy the $5 tube caulk at Porter Paint or Sherwin-Williams. We prefer Porter these days. Manufacturers go back and forth in how they manufacture products. They'll formulate it one way, and then the bean counters decide they can do it another way and save some money. And the thing to remember about inspections is every inspector you bring out here is going to find something different. It's just the nature of the beast. So here's a door they replaced down at the basement area. You can see that black line? They just never caulked any of that stuff. So, but the good thing is that I'll show you is whoever installed this door actually installed the flashing properly. See how that flashing sticks out about 3/4 of an inch past? We like to have it up to 1.5 inches. We just like to have the flashing out further. But that's somebody who actually installed it properly. Most places you'll go and they didn't caulk anything though. So this was a carpenter or someone that did this. Carpenters hate to caulk and paint. My brother's a master carpenter. He hates to caulk and paint. So right here you can see they didn't caulk anything at all. Or they just never got to it. They ran out of time, whatever it might be. But you'll normally see that the flashing is cut inside of this molding, and that's what rots the frames and everything else, which is probably what happened to this door, is why they replaced it all. So overall, great house. Basic stuff that we can certainly fix. Handy Andy's been out here doing this. Handy Andy Handyman's been doing this for over 25 years, Metro Atlanta. I'm a 4th generation contractor, it's in my blood. And a lot of this stuff we're doing the same way my granddaddy did. It's no different. And when you come to work with us or you come to use us as a client, it's like being a member of our family. Once you're in, you can text us in the middle of the night if you got an emergency situation. Somebody will get out there and deal with you. Got an insurance claim or any of that kind of stuff, electrical, plumbing stuff, things that the big company's gonna charge you 5 times what we charge. So welcome to the family. We're here to help. We're growing like crazy. Again, anytime you see that truck right there, it's usually me in it. Happy to help. We're at 770-912-2829. I'm Andy. We'll see you at the next house. Bye for now.